If you always wanted to travel solo but something is holding you back, questions like, what if I get lonely? What if it's dangerous? What if everyone judges me for eating alone? Well, this video is for you. I am Vicky from Nonstop Travel VV, and yes, I've been traveling solo for probably almost 30 years. I'm giving away my age a little bit. And not only have I traveled to dozens of countries by myself, I also moved to different continents. I am from Austria originally. I live in Australia now, but I also lived in Egypt. I also lived in Canada. I also lived in Greece. I also lived in Bangkok. And from all those places, I've also done traveling, most of that alone. And honestly, I've never regretted traveling by myself. So today I'm going to answer the 10 most common questions I get asked about solo travel. And hopefully by the end of this video, you feel inspired enough to book that trip that you've been dreaming about. Alrighty, let's get straight into the questions. First question, isn't solo travel lonely? Well, I mean, of course, it depends on your personality, if you are an introvert or an extrovert. I am more of an introvert, even though I overshare a lot. This is why I have 2 YouTube channels. But I actually hate crowds and I find it quite draining to be around people all the time. So for me, it comes very natural. And no, I don't feel lonely. I don't feel lonely in my everyday life when I'm not traveling. And I definitely don't feel lonely when I'm traveling. And I feel you can just absorb everything so much better when you travel by yourself. And also, if you do want to connect with people, it is much easier when you're by yourself to just start a conversation, like at a coffee shop, for example. Or if you have a hobby that includes other people, like for example, I love salsa dancing. I used to go salsa dancing whenever I traveled, and automatically you find like-minded people and you definitely do not feel alone. But it doesn't really matter what your hobby is. Just do a little bit of research before your trip, see if that exists in the destination that you're going to, and you will automatically connect with people. But honestly, in my case, I absolutely love exploring by myself. Nobody is distracting me from the experience. And if I really do feel lonely or rather want to share what I'm experiencing, well, I mean, I make a video about it. But yeah, that's just me. But I mean, you can also start a YouTube channel and share your travel experience. Then you always have someone to talk to, even if it's only your phone. Question number 2, what do you do when you eat alone? Yes, I remember like many years ago, I found it awkward too. By now, I absolutely don't mind. I actually walk into a fancy restaurant and if they ask table for 2, which is a weird question when you walk in there by yourself. Anyway, when they ask me that, I just proudly say, no, table for 1. And I have absolutely no problem with that. But I mean, of course, you can ease into it by just dining at food courts or fast food restaurants. Nobody's gonna question it there. But honestly, no matter where you eat by yourself, you just have to realize that people don't care that much. I know we always think like, oh my God, everyone is gonna stare at me or it's gonna look weird. Nobody cares. They're probably on their phones. They have their own problems. Don't worry about other people. Enjoy your meal. And I mean, you can always bring a book or a journal and write down your travel experiences. And you probably have a phone. So worst case, you just scroll a little bit on Instagram and look busy like everyone else does. And I mean, I also find when I eat by myself, I can really focus on my food. I don't have to have a conversation at the same time when I'm eating. And I mean, honestly, when I travel, it's a lot about exploring restaurants and eating. So if you love food as much as I do, don't let the fact that you are by yourself stop you from eating wherever you want to eat. And I mean, I also have the added challenge of being a YouTuber and filming myself when I eat. That's mostly on my vlog channel, Vicky Viola Vlogs. And I mean, again, I love eating. So in all my vlogs, you will see me eat a lot. And people have asked, how do you film yourself when you're vlogging? Well, I usually try to find something where I can lean my phone against, which is not ideal. So I have been researching for quite some time for the perfect little phone tripod stand. And I finally found the perfect phone tripod that's also a wallet at the same time. It is the MOFT trackable tripod wallet. Thank you, MOFT, for sponsoring this portion of the video. And no, they did not tell me what to say about their phone tripods. And I mean, as you can probably tell, my videos are never scripted. I just tell you honestly how I feel. And oh my God, I absolutely love it. The quality, the packaging is so nice. The quality is amazing. It is a super compact origami design, so it easily fits into my pocket or handbag, which makes it perfect for solo travel. It also has 3 really versatile tripod modes. First, vlogging mode. It acts as an invisible selfie stick. It actually has a hidden Bluetooth remote shutter, so you can snap photos or start recording instantly, which is perfect for filming B-roll or getting group shots. And then there is floating mode, which lifts the phone up, and it's amazing for FaceTiming or taking product close-up shots. And finally, stand mode, for when you just want it on a flat surface to watch a show, for example, when you are on a plane or in a restaurant, or if you want to keep your workflow seamless. It honestly makes filming so much easier. It's also ultra slim, really strong, and securely holds 1 or even 2 of your essential cards. And yes, it also comes with a magnetic ring for your phone case. And if you have an iPhone, it has the seamless built-in Apple Find My function. So you can just connect it, name it, and if you ever lose it, you can ping it and you can find it using a loud 70 decibel alert. And what's crazy is that unlike the Apple Wallet, which stops tracking when the battery drains, this one is completely rechargeable on the front via a wireless charger. So, I mean, it's super low maintenance, and one charge lasts you up to 6 months. I mean, could you ask for more? I definitely can't. So if you also want a phone stand, I mean, it also comes in super handy, not only if you're filming yourself, but if you just want to watch a show on your phone or a YouTube video. I've researched many different brands. This is by far the best one. I will see if I can get a discount code for you guys. If so, it will all be down there in the description. Oh, by the way, if you have many cards, there's also this version, which is like a real wallet and it fits so many cards. And again, it is also a tripod/phone stand at the same time, just bigger. Thank you again, MOFT, for sponsoring this portion of the video. Alright, next question. Is solo travel actually safe, especially as a woman? Well, I mean, honestly, I never had a dangerous situation. I had some tricky situations with flights that I missed and things like that, but I never had like a dangerous situation. It comes down to common sense as well. Always be aware of your surroundings. Don't be fearful, of course, but just be aware. Like, just don't walk down that dark alley late at night, obviously. Don't flash your fancy jewelry like my fancy Gaia watch. And that's very important. Always trust your instincts. And when you are out late at night, for example, my next trip is to New York. Can't wait. And I will arrive at midnight. So obviously I'm going to take an Uber or Uber, however you guys pronounce it. I've heard both ways. But yes, an Uber or a Lyft or whatever rideshare. Yes, it's not cheap, but your safety is always money well spent. And of course, upfront, research your destinations. And of course, always research the hotel. Some hotels look really nice in the pictures, but yes, do read the reviews. And if you read something like it's more than 10-minute walk from the train station or from the next bus station, or the area is sketchy, or I didn't feel safe, do not book that hotel. You want to look for something that says in the reviews that the area felt safe and that it's really close to public transport as well, so that you don't have a long walk at the end of your day, maybe when it's dark, you don't want to walk for 10-15 minutes. And I also always put the hotel's address into Google Maps and do a little Google Street View and actually have a look what the area looks like. Are there many cafes? Are there many shops around? Because you don't want to be in a hotel where there's like nothing around. And last but not least, don't be embarrassed if you do feel unsafe to just ask someone for help. Go into the nearest shop, for example, or the nearest cafe. That being said, don't demand help from people. Don't scream in panic. Don't be that crazy person. Like, we've all met those people. Explain what happened in a calm and friendly way, and most people will be more than happy to help you. Next question. Aren't you scared? No, I am excited. But yes, it definitely helps to be well prepared. If you take away only one thing from this video, let that be: install all the apps that you could possibly need, like ride shares and things like that. Install all that before your trip. And the most important one would be an eSIM, because you don't want to do data roaming. It's so expensive. I don't know why people still do that. There are awesome eSIMs. There are many options out there. I'm not sponsored, but I do recommend SAILY. I've used them many times. They're one of the biggest providers. They do have awesome customer support as well, just in case that there are any issues. But honestly, I never had any issues. It is super easy to install. Install it upfront, get the app. And I did reach out to SAILY and I asked them if I can have a discount code for you guys. And I have 15% off. So, I mean, I think this is a no-brainer. And they work in so many countries. I mean, I want to say all the countries in the world because, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So always make sure that you turn off roaming from your provider. But at the same time, you can also keep your primary number if your phone allows like a dual SIM. So highly recommended. Links down there in the description. And there is also my discount code for you guys. But yes, back to the question, I'm definitely not scared. And you will see the more you travel by yourself, your confidence grows. And also, again, I have traveled with partners many times. And honestly, from my point of view, I would be more scared that I have arguments with my partners when I'm at an awesome destination. And I'm not proud to say that that has happened in the past. And I mean, personally, I don't want to sit in my hotel room arguing or like crying when I could be out there exploring. And when I travel by myself, that just definitely does not happen. So that's definitely a bonus as well. But I mean, just for the record, I also had awesome moments traveling with partners, of course. But yes, it can be challenging because you both probably want different things. You probably have different energy levels. But please do let me know your experience down there in the comments. Maybe I've just been single for too long and loving it too much. Oh, all right. So the next question is, doesn't traveling with someone make it more fun? I think I already sort of answered that in the previous question. It can be. It really depends on who you're traveling with. What I definitely found a lot of fun is because I'm also a freelance musician and I toured with orchestras around Australia and to New Zealand and I've done cruise ship work. Yes, that's definitely fun, but I mean, to be completely honest, I do have a lot of fun traveling by myself because you can still do fun activities and you will be more open to meet fun people as well on your trip. So yes, it is definitely fun traveling by yourself. Next question, how do you meet people if you're traveling alone? Well, I mean, if you stay in a hostel, you will automatically be surrounded by people, or in a capsule hotel, which is like sort of the fancier version of a hostel. I don't really love hostels. I'm quite happy being in a hotel room and like being by myself. That being said, though, I have stayed in capsule hotels, which is sort of like, I guess, you have a little bit of privacy, but you're also like surrounded by lots of people and you can definitely make friends there. And capsule hotels are usually just a little bit nicer than hostels. So I would definitely recommend that. And then a friend of mine, she swears by walking tours, which are usually very cheap. You get some steps in and you definitely meet people there as well. So that is definitely a recommendation, even though, to be honest, I've never done a walking tour. But I mean, that's just me. Again, I'm weird. I just love being by myself so much. But if you do want to be in a group, then walking tours, highly recommended. And I mean, even if you go to a nice cafe, you can start a conversation with people. I remember, for example, last year when I was in New York, I was sitting in my favorite cafe, Think Coffee, not sponsored, but I love that place. And there were two friends chatting about their experience of moving to New York. And the girl said she came from Melbourne and she's Aussie. And I mean, I just had to like say something because now I live in Sydney, but back then I was also living in Melbourne. And I told her that I also just came from Melbourne and how much I would love to live in New York. And we just had the loveliest conversation. So just be open and be friendly and don't always just scroll on your phone and be like unapproachable. And then you will definitely meet people. All right, next question. What if something goes wrong? I mean, I find that when I travel, like I expect that there will be little things that are happening. Like I've done a lot of around the world trips and I usually do low cost airlines and like book everything by myself. And like if I would miss one leg, then I have a problem. There is no travel company that I can talk to that fixes the problem for myself. And it has happened. It has happened twice that I missed a flight. Once I actually missed it because I was late. And yes, that was quite dramatic. But you know what? I did find a solution. There is a solution. You will find a solution. And just keep in mind that you are healthy, you are alive, you are safe. And you're not dying and the world is not gonna end. And trust me, I felt like my world was ending. But then I picked myself up and I was like, okay, so what can we do to fix the problem? And in that particular case, also my brother helped me because he was training to be a pilot as well. And he knew someone with Austrian Airlines, so that definitely helped as well. So if you are my brother watching that right now, hi, thank you again. So yes, don't be afraid to ask for help, be creative, and keep in mind that every problem always has a solution. And honestly, when I travel, I'm usually in such a good mood and I see problems more as little challenges that make traveling more interesting. All right, and here's the next question. Isn't solo travel expensive? I mean, yes, it depends. Obviously, you will have to pay for your hotel room by yourself. If you go with a partner, then you can split that cost. But I mean, you could just stay in a capsule hotel or in a hostel, then that problem is solved. But I mean, apart from that, I wouldn't say it's more expensive. And I mean, you are in control of your budget. Definitely keep an eye on your budget, obviously. And I mean, there's always so much free stuff that you can do. I mean, I just walk a lot and explore. And yes, I mean, probably grab a matcha here and there. By the way, this is my new sweater that I made, which is very suitable for traveling. This is what it looks like in the back. But yes, I'm actually not even selling that. I just made that for myself because yes, I love matcha and airport lounges. Anyway, that's besides the topic. So, I mean, if you travel by yourself, you decide what's worth splurging on. But it's definitely always good to track your budget. I always use my Revolut Visa card. I've mentioned it a few times, so you probably know. I swear by it because you just transfer all the money that you want to spend on the trip into your Revolut card. You don't pay international transaction fees. Plus also you have free travel insurance if you pay for your trip with your Revolut card. There's also Wise. I think it does similar things, but I've done a lot of research which one is better. And I feel Revolut just is like the best one out there. Not sponsored, but I do have a sign-up link. If you are also sick and tired of paying international transaction fees and being overcharged for really bad exchange rates, because also Revolut has the best exchange rate. Oh, and also, speaking of tracking your spending, I have a getaway planner, which is an interactive planner. So I created this planner with a friend. It is awesome. I could not have done it by myself because it does so many things. So, I mean, you can put your entire itinerary. Everything will be in one spot, your flights, your hotel, everything. Of course, you can track your budget as well, like your budget that you planned versus the actual spending. Everything is in there. There's also a mobile version so that you can always keep it up to date. Then there is an interactive packing list, so you can choose what you want to pack and then you can just tick it off in the planner. Again, your flight details, your hotel details, everything will be in there. Plus you can plan which restaurants you want to go to, what attractions you want to see. And also there's a section for all the tasks that you still need to complete before you go on your trip, like for example applying for visas and stuff. So I mean, highly recommended, obviously. Like, I mean, I'm using it myself. And yes, I will put the QR code up there if you want to check it out. And I will also link it down there in the description. Oh, and also worth mentioning, of course, if you travel light with carry-on only, what I always do, highly recommend it because you don't carry a lot of stuff, which makes traveling already so much easier, but it also makes it cheaper. So that's also a really good way to save. Traveling light will definitely always help you to save money. All right, we are at question number 9. What's the biggest benefit of traveling solo? Well, I mean, freedom. Independence. You can do whatever you want. And I mean, even if you don't feel like doing anything, you can just sit in a cafe all day long. I mean, you can have a sleep in, you can be lazy, or you can get up before sunrise and watch the sunrise from Brooklyn Bridge. That's actually something I'm planning to do. Fingers crossed I will get up that early. But I mean, I can change my plans at any time. Nobody's gonna be upset with me. So personally, I love having that freedom. But I mean, let me know in the comments what you think. Alrighty, and that brings us to the last question. What's your advice for someone taking their first solo trip? First of all, yes, be prepared. So, I mean, that's the whole point why I made my getaway planner. Definitely get an eSIM so that you have data as soon as you arrive, so that you can use Google Maps so that you don't get lost and that you can call an Uber right away when it's like late at night or something. So make sure that you definitely have data as soon as you arrive by installing your eSIM upfront. Definitely make sure that you have all your visas in place and all the documents that you may need because, yeah, then you can just avoid drama. And last but not least, of course, travel light. It makes everything so much easier and cheaper. And I've got plenty of traveling light videos and what I pack here on this channel. So please check them out. Do subscribe if you are not subscribed yet. Also, please give this video a thumbs up if you found it interesting or entertaining, or if you learned something. If you have any further questions, if there's anything that I haven't covered, let me know and I will do a part 2 as well. And if you are still doubting yourself if you should go on a solo trip, just do a quick trip, like just a weekend, you know? And when you get back from your trip, please let me know in the comments if you had fun. Alrighty, you guys, safe travels, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!